So today we're gonna do a scavenger hunt to figure out what I should read next. Hey, welcome back. I'm Tara, and I've been feeling kind of uninspired about what I'm gonna read next. Usually I use the library checkouts and return dates to give me some kind of like guidance about what I should read next. Like, oh, I've wanted to read that book for a while. It came in from the library. It's due in 15 days. Will make me read something. But without library due dates, I feel like my reading is just like, I could read anything or I could read nothing. So I've been finding ways to like give myself deadlines for things like the magical readathons last month. But this month there was no readathon like that. So Kayla of Books and Lala came through with a solution, which is to do a scavenger hunt. So that's what we're gonna do, is a scavenger hunt where we go through only the books in my house, not all my books that I have on Goodreads, and find what I should read in May, and I'm going to read it no matter what it ends up being. And then I'm going to share the books that are kind of on my TBR already and that I need to read this month, either because it's an ARC and it has a due date, or because my library will probably open up and I'll have to return some of the library books I've had for like a month. First, let's do the scavenger hunt. I linked below to Kayla's video where she does her scavenger hunt. I'll read the questions, but I'll also put them below in case you want to do your own scavenger hunt, which I would absolutely love. Okay, so before we get into this, let's do a quick tour of my bookshelf so you can see about how many books I have. This is in my living room, and this is, you might see me sitting in front of this and recording sometimes. This is my like shelf of, this is my to be read list basically, these first two shelves. These are the books I'm reading next. Like I always put my library books here. If I know I want to read a book next, I put it on this shelf. And this is the, like where I put the books I want to read in the next month or two or this year. Books that I had that fulfill certain challenges for the Read Herder Challenge. And then down here are other books that I want to read like soon. And then over on the other side of my TV, these are some more books that like I want to read soonish. A couple ARCs I've been sent that I haven't decided if I want to read. The Little House on the Prairie series I got for Christmas, I want to read this year. The Will Wheaton books. This book for like kids and family. And then there's our book of poetry. Is also where we store our Legos when we don't want to, when they're built, we don't want to put them away. But these three shelves are our fiction books. Most of them I've already read, or they're J's, or they're just not like high on my to read shelf. The only books that get to stay in my house are books that I really like and I can see either Jay reading or me recommending to somebody. Everything else I just take to the used bookstore and get book credits and buy more books. So next to it is our biographies. And these books, these two shelves are all of mine and Jay's books mixed together. So all of our biographies and memoirs, theology and history. Jay was a history major. And then down here is our graphic novel collection and Bibles and Bible resources. And then in my office, I have my business books in rainbow order here. And if we move this chair, I have my craft books in rainbow order. So those are all knitting, crochet, spinning, some sewing, not much sewing. So the first question is, grab your favorite book, go to the acknowledgements, and the first name you see, find a book by an author with that same name. So I usually say like Anne of Green Gables or Jane Eyre or something by Austen. I don't know. You know what? Instead of doing a favorite book, we'll do a favorite book of last year, because those are fresh in my mind. I kind of hate picking favorites, and a lot of my favorites will be books I read years ago that I don't have. So let's go with a book that I have that I liked a lot. So a recent favorite instead of all-time favorite. We gotta go with favorite. Okay, so I was gonna go with The Poet X because it is one of my favorite books of last year, but then I came down here and I saw that I had Barbara Kingsolver's The Poisonwood Bible. This was my favorite book for the longest time. It doesn't have an acknowledgement, does it? No. Okay. What is the first name I see? Jonathan Quinn. So what's a book I own by someone named Jonathan? Oh, John Scalzi. So let's pick a John Scalzi. Oh no. Okay, so it has a planet or a moon. It has like an aircraft carrier. It has a ship, like a starship, but I guess we could use the word just ship. Okay, let's take this back over to my other bookshelf and think about this. It took me looking at Goodreads to realize that this book, Just a Geek, on the cover, it has Starship Enterprise. That's in the title. So that totally works. All right, so we're supposed to take something from the cover of this book, find it in the title of this book, and then we're supposed to go to page 50, line 5. Oh no. Little 1, 2, 3, 4. The line is where? Oh, on the Starship Enterprise. So now I'm supposed to find a book with that in the title. Okay, so let's use where, oh, on the. Hey, you know what came to mind with where in the title is my Neil Gaiman Neverwhere. So the next prompt is to pick a 5-star read with these same colors on the cover. Now I think for this I'm going to use Goodreads because I don't rate a lot of books. I don't star rate a lot of books, so that's going to make this difficult. I'm going to read on my Goodreads shelf, and then I am sorting by rating. So if you just click this. So now we're looking for a book with those same colors on the cover. Oh look, of course the Neil Gaiman book. Those both have it. Such a Fun Age. That has a little pink. Oh, so does this though. It has that little bit of pink purple and it's mostly black. It doesn't have, kind of has a little bit of blue. Let's do that one. Okay, so the next prompt is to pick a book that has the same number of pages as Such a Fun Age. So Such a Fun Age has 307 pages. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking at Goodreads and I've sorted the books I own by number of pages. Come on, 304, 304, 304, 309. Are you telling me I don't own anything with 307 pages? Oh no. Okay, this is unbelievable. There's not a book in my house that is 307 pages long. I have flipped through books that Jay owns. I flipped through all of our cookbooks. I flipped through every book we got from the library. And the closest I can come up with is Marie Forleo's Everything is Figureoutable, which is 304 pages, which counts. So what I'm supposed to do next is flip to any page, land on the first name I see. Oh. Evelyn. Evelyn? Evelyn. Okay. Find a book by an author who shares that name. Okay, we're gonna use Goodreads for this. So I searched for a book by Evelyn, and these are the books. Let's go with Flawed. What I'm supposed to do now is find a book that has a title with the same number of letters. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's find a book with 6 words in the title. It's like, oh my gosh, it's actually a really short title. And, oh look, here it is, Worthy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I'm supposed to find a title or a cover that is similar to this cover right here. Let's look. Ooh, that's pretty similar. What do you think? Do you think it's similar enough? It's centered. It's got stuff around it. It's got curly cues. Now I'm supposed to flip to a random page, point at a word, find that word in a book title on your TBR shelf, and that's the book. Okay, wish me luck. Into? Okay, well, Into didn't work because there's no book on my shelf with that word. And so let's try this one more time because I've tried it several times and I keep coming up with words like highly and expectant. So let's try this again. Okay. Hoped to. It's hope to see. Nothing to see here. We have done it. We have come up with a book. It is amazing. Are you ready? To sum up the scavenger hunt, we went from the Poisonwood Bible to John Scalzi's The Collapsing Empire, to Will Wheaton's Just a Geek, to Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere, to Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid, to Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo, to Worthy, then to What Matters in Jane Austen, and finally to my book, Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. It's quite an adventure. So now that we found Nothing to See Here, we can talk about my May TBR, what I plan to read this month. So Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson, found via scavenger hunt. And this is a story of 2 college roommates, Madison and Lillian, Long after college, after one of them has to leave college, Madison calls Lillian up and says, I have twin stepkids. My husband's running for political office and I need you to like be a nanny or a caretaker. But the kids spontaneously combust. So they don't go up in flames like and die, but I guess the flames pop out of their skin or something, I don't know. And so she grows to love them and be their caretaker, and they navigate life together, and maybe something else is going on, I'm not entirely sure. I hope it's like such a fun age, which I read and loved, and it's also about caretaking people's kids who aren't your kids but who you love and form your own relationship with. If it's about that, I love that. I found that, like, especially as a foster parent, it's a relationship that I really get that I don't see a lot in literature. So let's hope that's what this is about. So this is first up. I'm probably gonna start this like soon. Next on my TBR are ARCs that I have requested through NetGalley. And this is specifically because I was needing something of a thriller. After reading The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel, it's like so moving and beautiful language, and I was like, I just haven't read enough good thrillers lately. I feel like I've been reading more literary fiction, which is good and I love it, but in order to keep my attention, I need something more fast-paced. So I requested The Wife by Wendy Clark, and I read these in order of their publication date so that I can review them before they come out. It's about best friends, but somehow they haven't talked for a while. One texts the other. Joanna texts somebody and says, I'm engaged, I can't wait for you to meet him. I've only known him a month, but I love him so much. You're gonna love him. And the friend's like, okay, I can come this weekend. They make plans for Saturday, and when she shows up, Joanna isn't there. So like, what's going on? Is Mark, her fiance, a good guy, a bad guy? Is she hurt? Is she ditzy? That's The Wife by Wendy Clark. The next one I requested that I got is The Apartment by K.L. Slater. It's another thriller that was pretty highly reviewed on Goodreads, and it's about a single mom who needs a place to stay, so she agrees to stay in this apartment, which is like amazing, and it kind of, like, the description reminds me of Lock Every Door, except for I think it's gonna go a very different direction, because then she finds out some stuff about the apartment. And then I have two more ARCs that I need to read in June, and so I might read them now. Power of Ritual: How to Create Meaning and Connection in Everything You Do by Casper ter Kuile. He is like a theologist. He does the Sacred Texts of Harry Potter podcast. His thing is about finding the sacred in the everyday, and so The Power of Ritual is about how you can take daily rituals, things you do, and make them like a oasis or a respite in your life. And the description specifically says a respite from the social isolation that you feel. And I was like, they wrote this long before Corona, so it's coming out. It's supposed to come out right now, June 23rd, but of course that could change with all these dates being moved around. The next June ARC I have, which I don't think I can wait to read, and it's why I started looking up other thriller ARCs, because I'm so excited about it. It is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, and as you know, I've read and loved all three of his books, and I can't wait to read it. I may get to that this month. If not, it'll be early in June. I might save it for my birthday. My birthday's June 3rd. So then the next kind of set of books I need to read in May are the books that are from my library. So my library, like, computer system just kind of clicked back on after it's been off basically since March 15th. All of my due dates look like my old due dates, but they had no fine associated with them. And now I got a text that said they'd all been renewed, and now they say they're due May 15th. And it said by June they'll do curbside pickup. So because I want the books I have on hold, I'm gonna return the books I've had at my house for all this time, which is a lot of kid books, thank goodness. But also, The Mirror and the Light by Hilary Mantel. I started this on March 12th and then could not focus on it because of everything that was going on. I got about 100 pages in, 150 pages in. So I'm gonna pick this up again and try it now that I'm in a slightly different brain space. I have a little more space in my mind for something that's a little slower, more historical. It's kind of weirdly written. It's kind of stream of consciousness from the perspective of Thomas Cromwell, but it's very, very highly researched historical stuff happening the days of Henry VIII. So it's stream of consciousness, but like from someone's brain you've never been inside before. I love the first two books in the series. I don't remember them being slow to go through, but when I read them, I did not have kids. I was not stuck at home, and the world didn't seem like it was on fire. So we'll see if I can finish The Mirror and the Light by Hilary Mantel, but I'm sure other people are waiting on this one, so I need to return it by the 15th. The other book that people probably aren't waiting on, but I've had it and I need to return it, is Jane Austen: A Life by Claire Tomlin. As you know, in March I started reading through all the Jane Austen books. So this month I also want to read Mansfield Park and Persuasion, both for the first time, but I want to read these 2 Jane Austen books this month, and then also read this autobiography, which I've heard is one of the absolute best. So I feel like I've talked about this book a lot, but now's the time to read it because I got to take it back to the library. There's only one more book that I hope to get to this month. I know, it's actually kind of a lot, isn't it? And that is this. This is one of the books I bought when I kind of freaked out. Oh my gosh, we're stuck at home. I want to support my local bookstores. The Long Way Home. It's the next book in her Inspector Gamache series. I have read all of the books I bought in that like panic buy. I read them all. This is the last one that I recently bought that I haven't read. And I'm so proud of myself for actually reading the books I bought that I want to get through this one. I love these books. Talked a lot about how much I love these books. They're very comforting. So I'm going to pick this up when I need something kind of comforting, probably in between the biography and the historical fiction. I did a scavenger hunt because I've been feeling like these books have just been on my to-read list since all this started, since March, and something about just looking at them has made me not as excited by them. But I want to read them and I wanted to read them. I just need to tap back into the reasons why I wanted to read them. And I am so glad that I have this book now because I think it's much faster paced. So that's it for my TBR. I hope the scavenger hunt was fun. I loved sharing it with you. And if you liked it, leave a comment below. If you're going to do it, please link to your scavenger hunt video below when you create it. Thank you so much and have a beautiful reading filled month.